ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's edition of the Topeka RoadRunners Coaches Show, Playoff Edition. We are broadcasting here at Skinny's Bar and Grill. I'm Art Checker, and our guest, of course, as always, head coach Josh Kamrass. Well, Josh, it's playoff time, and at long last, it's really what you play for. It's the most exciting time of year. And we talked about it last time we got together at a coach's show about having wrapped up the regular season and the excitement and how when you get into the playoffs, how everything just kind of builds a little bit. And tell me about what you saw on the ice over the course of the weekend in terms of intensity.
Yeah, Friday night was, the intensity was there right from the get-go. The playoff atmosphere was intense. Guys were going hard. And the pace of the game was really fast. Now Lone Star, they came out really hard. Credit them. They were ready to go. I think at first it kind of caught us off guard a little bit. We were on our heels a bit, and then we kind of settled in and realized, okay, this is what playoff hockey's all about. Our guys we got the pace down. We got the intensity level, and we thought our game got a little bit better as that first game Friday went on.
Of course, it's the first time in a long time, first time ever that we've had to open the playoffs on the road. We've opened series on the road in the past, but it's certainly there's some mental preparation that you need to get ready for because you're going into an environment that's going to be electric. Did it help having been in that building the week prior?
I think it a little bit. I don't think you look too much into little things like that when you're getting prepared for the week. You just look at matchup styles, focus on your game plan, execution, things like that. All the other stuff is just background noise, and you can't really let that come into play when you're trying to get ready for a playoff series.
Both teams had some roster adjustments from between Friday and Saturday because of suspensions and whatnot, but at least from your standpoint, how much difference did it make for you as a coach to be able to walk into a lineup and knowing you've got four consistent lines rather than having to juggle through them all night?
Yeah, Friday we had to juggle lines a bit due to suspensions, and it is what it is on Friday. Again, no excuses. It's background noise. We just got to play our game and execute. Saturday, it's good. We got Andrew Hart back. He did really well. Our guys brought a little bit different level of intensity to their game. They played really hard, and they were relentless, and they didn't stop. Even if Lone Star got an opportunity, we responded well. We continued to attack in numbers and made sure we played how we wanted to.
On Friday night, it was that shorthanded goal by Lone Star that really it ended up being the game-winning goal, and it came right on the heels of a great scoring opportunity for the Roadrunners at the other end. And granted, in playoff hockey, things get blown up and everything becomes magnified, but how often do you see that where it's the transition and from one great chance at one end of the ice turns into a bad break on the other? And that one was a weird one because it was the 5-on-3.
Yeah, you see it a lot. Anyone who watches the NHL, it always seems like that's how it kind of goes. We talked a couple weeks ago about playoff time. You gotta bear down on your chances when you get an opportunity, especially against a team like Lone Star who plays very tight defensive hockey. You really have to bear your chances and make sure if there's a rebound that you're the first on it. So, everything is magnified like you said, and if you get an opportunity, you got to make sure you bury it. And who knows what happens if you don't.
You got some solid goaltending over the course of the weekend. Juho Niku, if there's one word that pops to mind when I think about his play, it's consistency, because he always seems to be very calm and consistent throughout the game regardless of the situation.
Yeah, we talk a lot about, when you talk to scouts and guys recruiting players, defense forwards, they always say he's got a high IQ for the game. He thinks the game well, he makes plays. That can be said for the goaltending as well. Niku reads the play. He knows what's going to happen before it happens. He's very intelligent in net, which allows him, to read the play that's coming on. Where are the guys going to shoot? Be ready for that next play. If there is a rebound, be ready for that. So he is a very intelligent goalie, and he reads the play extremely well, which I think helps him. And obviously when he's playing with some confidence, he's he's dynamic in there.
You know, you talked about the intensity of playoff level hockey, and it seemed like on Friday night, right from the get-go, both teams came out pretty well juiced up as far as that energy level and the adrenaline flowing and kind of slugging back and forth. And the Runners could never really seem to gain any real upper hand. I mean, I think they kept par at best throughout that contest. But on Saturday, it felt like on somewhere between the first and second intermission, right, or first intermission between the first and second period, at some point there, what the Runners were doing started to have an effect on the Brahmas, and you could see it, and all of a sudden they lost a little bit of their swagger at that point.
Yeah, it's just, playoffs are about momentum, and Lone Star, they had momentum, for sure after Friday night, winning a game like that, obviously at home. We talk all the time about how you respond, and it gets old sometimes, and it sounds like, we're harping on the same stuff, but it's so true because, just like you were talking about with the goal, we have a play down at one end, we don't score, they come back down and score, and now they're up 1-0. How are we going to respond to that? It's just a game of, inches, where we're gonna keep playing. Maybe our chance comes with 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Maybe it doesn't come until the overtime. So it's just about how you respond and making sure that when things don't go your way, you don't get down and you stay relentless, and we attack and we execute our game plan throughout the game.
So you were down 2-0 to Lone Star on Friday night in that third period. You get a power play chance, which was really something that the Runners were needing. They needed something to kind of give them an edge at that point. You get Quinn Preston, you call on him to take the draw, and then Dominic Lutz powers a shot on him. It took all 2 seconds to cash in on a power play, but just kind of talk a little bit about those guys and what they've brought and how important that goal was at that time.
Yeah, that was a huge goal for us. I think momentum was on their side, and that was you could kind of sense on the bench guys were getting frustrated because of the tight checking D, and we were just waiting for something to happen, whether it was a hit, a goal, a shot, something. And Dom answered the bell, and we got an opportunity there. And I think what we took out of that is when we do get momentum like that, we have to learn how to keep it on our side and continue to play our game and progress and keep building off that. Obviously letting them respond the way that they did is something that we needed to learn from, and I thought we did on Saturday.
You can't underestimate the importance of winning key face-offs. And in that situation, an offensive zone draw on the power play, down 2 goals in the third period, that's a huge face-off opportunity. Some guys are very good at it. What makes a centerman successful in those situations?
Repetition and confidence. Practicing it, making sure. That's the little things that guys do. Obviously, we work on that quite a bit, but little things that guys do on their own, building their individual skills. But face-offs generally aren't won by one individual; they're won by the group. 5 guys battling together to get that face-off. As long as they don't lose them clean, that's what we're looking for, because that'll kill you just like that. If you're Lone Star, you're looking at that face-off, lost it clean, it's in the back of your net. So it happens all too often.
You've taken a face-off or 2 in your day. Tell me about why it is that the linesmen occasionally, they'll double clutch on the drop. Sometimes they just step right in and drop it. Other times they sit back and they almost twitch a couple times and they force guys to jump. Then they throw them out. I mean, what's going on in the linesman's head? Why is it not consistent?
Well, that's when they go to their referee school in the summer, they say, we need more fan interaction. And they tell them, you need to do this so you can get booed by the fans to get them more engaged.
Well, I got to tell you, that's working.
Yeah, they do a great job at that. So hats off to the linesmen in the North American League.
Can they give you any explanation as far as, or do just different linesmen have different habits?
Everyone's different. That's more the relationship with the players and the linesmen. The players will go up and talk to them. Hey, you kind of double clutch there. You threw me off a little bit. That's just the relationship between those two, on the ice. Coaches don't have too much to say to linesmen, other than, why'd you call that icing off, or why'd you wave that offsides, little things like that. But there's not too much interaction between the coach and the linesman.
Okay.
That answer your question?
Yeah, pretty much.
We can cut that and just go with the first answer I gave you, if you want.
We can go with whatever answer you're most comfortable with. I'm fine with that. So let's talk more about the Saturday game. And again, you found yourself in a situation in a hole early, well, not super early, but you find yourself trailing 1-0. And then you find a way to power back into it, and it was Luka Maver. And I know we've talked a lot about him over the last few weeks because just because of the way he plays and the way his game has grown and continued to grow. And I know he generates a lot of chatter amongst scouts and people that come to watch games. But I wanted to give you another opportunity to kind of talk about that play in particular and why it was successful and how Luka helped make it happen.
Well, Luka's been great for us. You see him use his size, his speed. He's a smart player. He works hard. It's really just about getting pucks to the net at this time of year. And when you got guys that can skate like Luka and make plays like that, we're working on that a lot with our guys the past month. And that's at this time of year, that's what it's all about. It's just getting the puck to the net. It doesn't have to be pretty. It's just got to go in.
And it's not always what you're doing with the puck, but it's what you're doing away from the puck to help your teammates create opportunities as well. And that's an area of Luka's game that he's continuing to work on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so fun at this level to see guys progress. You see him come in and Luka came in here, he might have been 160 pounds, 150 pounds last year.
And half of that was hair.
Right, and he had the big fro going. But he's been all smiles since he's been here. But you see someone like Luka come in, and he's a young kid, and you see him develop and mature and grow into a young man, and he's becoming a better hockey player every day, and he's still all smiles, and it's just so fun. That's the best part about working at this level with these guys is you get to see stuff like that and little things that you work every single day on throughout the year. If they do it once, that's the most rewarding thing as a coach, to see something that you've helped them with along the way. If they do it one time, then that's what it's all about for us. So it's guys like that, and we have moments like that with every player, which if they could be in your mind as a player, they would know how proud of them you are once they do something like that. Once it clicks, that light bulb goes on. That's really the special moment between a player and a coach.
When you went into the locker room at the end of regulation and you've got sudden death overtime staring at you, how much emphasis is there for you to encourage the guys to try to get it over with quickly as opposed to lengthening it out? And if it does lengthen out past, say, 10 minutes, does that help or hinder your efforts? Because I know both teams are on the same ice sheet and they both played exactly the same length.
Yeah, I don't think your focus heading into playoffs, at least ours heading in there, wasn't we have to score right away. We have to get chances otherwise or else, because then it puts too much emphasis on that, and if it doesn't go right, now we could potentially be on our heels. So we were just, hey, let's continue doing what we've been doing. You guys are playing hard, you're attacking well, we're playing good defensive hockey. There was a few chances late in the third that we weren't really too happy about, a lot of good chances they got. Juho made some big saves when we needed them. But, you just want to focus on making sure you're possessing the puck, good plays at the lines, not turning the puck over, protecting the puck, little things like that. And when you get a chance, just put it to the net. You don't have to aim for the top corner, just put it to the net. Anything can happen right now.
On the game-winning goal, Quinn Preston picks it up on the left side, cuts across to the middle and veered way over to his right. Left the drop pass for Sean Brennan. But that kind of use of the entire width of the ice, is that something that you sometimes might frown on? Do you like your wingers to cross and go to the off wing when they're on a rush like that, or do you just encourage them to be creative and take what's given you?
A little bit of both. Obviously, hockey is a game of reactions, and you can't be robots. It's not bubble hockey. They don't go up and down on a string. So you want to encourage creativity, making plays. You give them structure to as a base to go around, and if a guy's driving wide, they kind of know where they got to be, sort of thing. But you want to encourage creativity, making plays. I don't know that every coach is like that, but here we definitely want our guys to be able to do that because here, the next level, even if they progress on further. That's what it's all about, is having the ability to make those plays and read that on the ice. And the only thing that you really have structure on that's, this or else is D-zone.
This weekend on the bench, you had an extra set of eyes with Vinny Bone, and you've known Vinny for a little while now. And tell me about what having that extra set of eyes on the bench means to you as a staff as a whole.
Well, it's great. It's Vinny was in Atlanta with the Capitals this year, and you could see his development over this season. He's come in. He's a lot more knowledgeable about the game. He's hungry. He enjoys being around the rink and the guys, and I think they enjoy him as well. He's only been here for a short time, but he's done really, really well here so far. He's not afraid to give us his opinion, which is great. A lot of guys come into a situation and they're a little hesitant. He works hard. He's personable with the guys. He's kind of just a soundboard for him right now because he came in late. But he's being real positive on the bench, and if he sees something, he brings it to our attention and makes sure that we know about it. So it's been fantastic so far.
I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the players who happens to be in the building here tonight, and we'll be visiting with him very shortly. But a guy that's been in the league quite some time and certainly paid his dues. And when you talk about players who have grown and through the path of junior hockey, and you watch, and we're talking about J.B. Baker, and talking about the way he plays now compared to when you first saw him. I mean, he's always had that energy, but it seems that some areas of his game have improved even more.
Yeah, JB has been great for us. He, I think the first thing that people notice is his intensity, his work ethic, how hard he goes every shift. But and this is something that we're recruiting. Something that we're looking for down the road for future RoadRunners is guys that they have that ability to play hard in any situation. They have that determination, that grit, that desire. They're not afraid of anything or any place on the ice. You can't teach that as a coach. Guys have that or they don't. You can teach skill. You can teach how to make plays. And, JB came in with that desire. I'll get to the dirty areas. Just, put it there. I'll go there if you put it there. And something that we've really worked with JB on over the last year and a half is making those plays. And you see in his game now that he's really making plays. He's really been a guy that, his other line mates have really done a great job, because he's been getting to the area, he's been getting the puck, making the plays, getting to the net. And that's something that when you have the combination that JB has and the confidence, to make the play, that's what makes a good North American Hockey League player, and one that colleges, when they come into the building, they get excited about, because he has that ability now and that determination that he's always had. But he's got that ability to make the play, and he's got that confidence. So he's been awesome for us, and he's just fun to be around. He's always smiling. Even when someone else gives him an extra shot or something, and he's always just involved. And that's great to see. And he's been fantastic and a great leader here in Topeka.
Well, we're going to bring JB up to talk with us next. Coach, thanks for your time, and we'll talk to you again soon. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
So, hey guys, once again, put your hands together. Look who joined me up here, JB Baker. JB, when you first came here, one of the first things I did was I had to put you on the spot and explain to me what JB stands for. And we covered that. You've been here a couple years now, so we don't really need to beat that up. But what I did was I came up with a list of the top 10 things that JB does not stand for. So number 10, Joe Boo. Joe Boo, keep bats warm, right? Does not stand for Jelly Belly. Number 8, Jumping Bean. Number 10, Jambone. What'd you think of that one, though? Would anybody ever call you that? Jambone? What's up, Jambone?
No, I don't. Don't think
I would have been the first if I'd have pulled that one out.
Yeah, probably.
What's up, Jambone? I kind of like it. Jerky Boy. How about that? You ever get called that in the corners?
No.
Hey, that's my puck, Jerky Boy. No?
Not sure if I'm a fan of that
one. Number 5, Jailbreak. Number 4, Junk Bond. Number 3 is Jersey Badlands. I'll start to stretch a little bit here. These are top 10 things JB does not stand for. Number 2, Jumbo Bananas. And the number one thing that JB does not stand for is Jolly Biscuits.
No.
Hey, would you want some Jolly Biscuits? JB Baker, everybody, putting up with my malarkey here since 2015 or thereabouts. JB, I tell you what, big win on Saturday night, and we had a couple of fans that had made the trip down there, and their eyewitness report says when that game-winning goal was scored by Quinn Preston that you guys vaulted off the bench like nobody's business. Tell me about that emotion at that moment when Quinn Preston's puck hit the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, I had a great view of it from the bench, and to be honest with you, I didn't know it went in. I went off the reaction with the other guys, and we got over there pretty quickly.
Definitely. Well, obviously a great moment because it had been a tough, hard-fought weekend, and really it was, we talked about it with Josh, but that level of playoff intensity, I mean, it seemed evident from my vantage point. I'm way up in the back row, but to be sitting down there on the ice, I mean, compare that level of intensity to the weekend before when it was just regular season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be a different type of intensity because of first series of playoffs and everything. But actually, the last time we played them in the regular season, it was still pretty intense because both teams knew going in we were going to play each other, and so you got to set the tone early, and I think both teams did that pretty well.
It's been a while since the Brahmas have been here in our building because I was back in December or so. I think it was the last time they were here. And you had some success against them, but then again, that was months ago. So their team a little bit different now, and your team a little bit different now than it was then. Both teams have likely, obviously, grown and whatnot and been through some things. But you have an opportunity to come home and play those guys on home ice. And based on how the last two games have gone, describe your confidence level in your locker room heading into this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, obviously getting a win like that, we're very confident. I think also our ice sheet plays to our advantage a little bit more because their arena's a little bit smaller in the way they play, dumping pucks, going to get them and stuff like that. With our ice sheet, it feels like it's a little bit more spread out, so I feel like that's a huge advantage for us that we need to take care of.
I talked with Josh also a little bit about Juho Niku and his calm and confident way of playing. Tell me, as a player, what's it like to play in front of him?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Like you said, he's very reliable, and I think he's very steady. He's been steady all year, ever since he's came in, and I think it helps us a lot knowing we have him back there.
We also have talked about how the team as a whole seems to react pretty well to adversity. You get behind a goal, you get behind a couple goals, no one really seems to get too rattled, and you guys always just kind of power your way through it. Do you find, as one of the leaders on the team now, at this time of the year, is there anything that needs to be said on the bench? Do you guys kind of have to pick each other up a little bit, or is it just kind of a knowing confidence amongst yourselves? I mean, what do you feel as a leader that you have to do?
Yeah, I mean, just to say, like, what we've been through already with the season and everything, guys leaving and whatnot, I think we've done a great job with adversity and handling it well. And you can always say something on the bench to get, one guy going or the whole team going. But I think we're very confident when, adversity comes our way just because of what we've been through this season.
One thing that I think your team did extremely well over the last couple of days was to block shots, and that's something you've always taken a lot of pride in. But tell me, from a player's standpoint, what it's like when you look out on the ice and you see one of your buddies laying out there sacrificing the body to block a shot.
It's huge. The little things wins games like that, and blocking shots is a huge aspect that we take pride in. And so, anytime you see a guy doing that, it's big for us.
Now, one of the aspects of your game has always been real heavy on the forecheck. You love to go in the offensive zone. You love to go in the corners. You love to throw the body and finish checks. It's just, I assume it's something that gives you pleasure because that's the game. No, it's the game you like to play. That's what makes you feel like, hey, I'm doing my job because that's how I'm playing and that's what I'm giving to my team. Do you have any sense of when you make those plays, how that affects your bench and the rest of your team?
Not really. To be honest with you just try to do your job and try to do what you're best at. And anytime I can be F1 on the forecheck and get a big hit or even beat the guy out to the puck. I don't really notice it, but I guess a lot of people do.
a lot of people do. Let me flip the script for you a little bit to help give you an idea. The check that Sean Brennan threw on Cody Wickline the other night.
Oh, yeah.
Remember how that felt?
Yeah.
That's what everybody else feels when they see you rocking guys in the corner. Okay.
I don't know. That was a pretty big hit by Sean. We were all pretty fired up after that.
It was. So you get a chance to come home. You say the ice sheet's going to play a little bit of a role, and you just talk a little bit again about the fan support that you get here in Topeka and that energy that we create here.
Yeah, I mean it's huge. I mean the fans have been great all year, and I would expect the same thing in the playoffs, and even more just because of the atmosphere that they've always brought. And I mean with the ice sheet, I think it plays to our advantage. I mean, one, because we practice there a lot, and two, because it's our ice sheet.
How much do you dislike Lone Star at this point?
I've always disliked them. I think you dislike every team you play against, but playing them back to back like this and playing them again, it's a big rivalry. I think it's turned into something just because of the way the teams have played. So I mean, especially because of last year. So yeah, it's definitely a rivalry.
All right, well, we're definitely looking forward to seeing you and the rest of the guys out there on the ice this weekend. And congrats on a successful game, too, and congrats moving forward, and best of luck.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go. JB Baker visiting with us here on the Topeka RoadRunners Coaches Show. And that's pretty much our last coaches show of the year, from what I'm told. So unless something happens and we fire up another one, you just never know. But thanks for tuning in. And for those of you that watched on YouTube, give a heads up to Carolyn because she taped the whole darn thing for us. So, way to go. And we'll talk to you next time. From Skinnies, I'm Mark Eckert. Have a great weekend.